Okay, we will start then in the back end, because before you start creating your organizations, I know it's called organizations, but it's used different clients for different usages. Some use it more of like a community of practice, some use it regional like organizations, and some use it really as like a company or a startup, and some use it as really like an organization section. It's called now organization profiles. That in the future might be a little bit more flexible naming wise. It's also not that visible naming wise, but definitely in the back end it is. So in starting an organization, there are things to set in taxonomy settings as well as in the organization settings. And taxonomy settings, you can display organization type. So that means the type of organization that you have. In case you have several, you would go here called organization type, where you can add, similar to topic type or group type or event type, the type of organizations you want to list. That can be from the actual name, or it can actually be adding a term. Let's say you want to call it region, right? Or regional, in that case. And you can then just create it and you can save it the same way it has worked with others. And then you have that set up too. I need to remove here the, yeah, okay. Then you can also go back to your settings. And you have then as well your organization settings, where you can decide if you want authentic users, so logged in users, to create organizations, or if you want only content managers, site managers to create organizations. In that case, and then you can choose what content types can be linked to an organization. It can be an event, it can be a topic, it can also be a discussion, it can be a dashboard, it can be an album, and so forth. And then also you can choose regarding approval is required. So if you want people to immediately be part of an organization, or if there should be an approval process, such as an organization manager. What is an organization manager? This is now a new role that is then added once you have organization profiles enabled on your platform. In order to be an organization manager, you need to give a person this role. So that means this person, once they have an organization manager role, they're allowed to be an organization manager of a specific organization. So typical, similar to group manager, except that it's an actual role a user needs to have. So that means if I want to give like this person now this role, I'll select it. I'll add a role to the selected user, and I will make them organization manager. You know, demo environment's a little slow, so gotta give it a second. And now they also have this role, which you can then see here that they're also organization manager. That means now when we create an organization, this person can be tagged as an organization manager. As an organization manager, similar like we have group manager, event manager, they can manage the members and as well as accept them. Another thing also which allows it now is that you can have a setting that allows that you can have authenticated users or verified, right? This means that a user can sign up to the platform. First, they're not verified. This means that they can already set up their profile, but they're not verified, right? So a site manager currently needs to verify them. The other way now it can be, if you enable it, is that once you're accepted, once an organization manager accepts a user into their organization, they automatically become verified. This is just a different course that is possible. Now getting to actually creating an organization, you have in the content part, when you click an organization section, organization that you click on, and you get a overview. So here are already organizations. If you also want normal users or verified users to create organizations, you can also have the option to that users first need to request creating an organization before they accept it. But if you are a site manager or content manager, you can already create an organization. back. You have then add an organization, and that's where you start adding. You can put in the title of that organization. So I'm just going to put for now GP Berlin, right? I'm just giving it a name. And then you can also add a logo where you choose a file, and it can be a specific logo, and you can add alternative text. But also remember the logo has then a specific size, which you will see. Here you add like a summary if you want to put in a summary of that organization, right? So regional organization, whatever that may be. And here you add the description, so place information regarding organization or wherever you want to call it. And here you then have types, so you choose which type. So let's say it's regional. You can put a location. You don't have to add a contact or an organization, but if you want to, you can. You can also put only slightly of it or none of it. That is up to you. And an email here if you wish to. And then you also have content tags. So just like you have social tag in your settings, you can choose if an organization can be tagged or not. If it can be, you'll have it here where you can choose which one. So let's say it's sustainable stories and conservation sustainability. You want to tag it with. Then you also have links. So you can choose here the organization website. So that would be, for example, greenpeace.de. I'm not really sure that is the site, but, and you can choose the text, all right? So website or whatever the text should be, but you can also choose an internal link. Let's say there's a specific group you want to attach it to. I'm just going to use a random one. So then you have also that attachment. So that group belongs kind of to that organization, like the internal link of it. Here you have then organization manager. So this is when I start writing, the name would come. You can also have several. It can be more than one if you wish to do so. And then you have several organization managers. You can also choose the visibility. So who can see that this organization even exists? So if whether it's public, community, or if you have a specific role, you can also do that. But let's say we're doing community-wise, and then the join method, you can also choose if it's open to join, request, or only by invitation. Let's say we're doing it now, request to join. Open to join would be similar to groups where you just join and invite, the same thing. And then you can choose if whether it should be immediately published or not. You can also create organization and not publish them yet. Let's say we're keeping it unpublished for now. Oh, the URL doesn't exist. So it's telling you also there is an error. So we're just gonna remove that for now. Save it. And then you have a template that already occurs automatically. So the template that occurs automatically, you can see here is kind of the sidebar where you can see who follows the organization and is part of it. You can see the type, you can see the location, you can see the name, the logo, like I said, is a specific size. And automatically you can see here the members and this hero image. This is the description. You can change this, and then automatically here are events and groups and their organized topics in their organization. However, everything that you can see here when you press layout, it's the same like a dashboard, and it is a dashboard usage. So you can remove anything you don't want to use, but also add any section you want. So if you want to change how something should look, or for example, this image, you want to configure it, you can press configure and also remove that image, right, and place a different one. And then place it as well. This here is not the correct dimension, but tell you also which dimension. And then you can place it here and add it. You can add a different section, right? One column, add further blocks, the same thing like other dashboards. What is now also special is that groups in the organization, topics in the organization, and so forth. How do you then create that? That means that when you're creating a topic, let's say you want to report, you add an image, right? You add the text, and you add if it should be community-wide, public, or even within a group, you add a tag to it, attachments, and then you have in the settings. And in the settings, that's where you could place it then within a organization, and then you create the topic. And now it's within that organization as well. So now if I go back to the organization where I wanted it to be in, you have it here in the topics automatically. And this includes as well groups. You can have groups that are tagged within the organization and events that are tagged and so forth. So showcasing anything, you are part of that organization and you have that filtration in that way. Let's say now I do want to publish it. So I go back to information and I go to your settings and I publish it. And then I also have a all organization page where you have a list of all organizations. Like I said, the title of things is going to be more flexible, as well as the type that you place here is going to be the type that's listed here. So if you have regional, whatever name you want to give that company, the organization, the different dashboards you want to place, you can put that type as well as have that filtration in place and apply it. Okay, I see a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think it's good to pause for a second, Jamila, and maybe collect some questions. So I think it's good to start for, there are some uncertainties whether organizations replace groups.
No.
Would you mind shedding some light on what's the main difference between an organization and the group and how they relate to each other?
Yes, so you can have like group, they're just an organization, first of all, of course, has its own page and its own dashboard in place. And also you have several tags within a group, of course. So it's not just like one group, but it's like you can say you can have like subgroups, so groups within an organization. It is also similar in the way, of course, that you have members that are a part of it and you can engage with them. In that way, but you can also, as I mentioned, it's also not that like how do you call it, like it's not secret. So if you have like really secret groups or so forth, right, a dashboard is not like that. It's to showcase a dashboard of different implementation and also have an organization manager who can manage who is in that organization or however you want to place it and who not. So I think in your case, a lot of that, the difference is that you have a dashboard attached to it and you can have several groups with it, and also that it's community like publicly there.
Yeah, sure. So I see that in the organization, there's this block of groups and also a block of topics. Both of them can be inside this organization. But if I create a topic inside a group that it's in this organization, but I do not tag the topic to be in the organization, will it be automatically added to the organization or not? I have to specifically tag it to the organization for it to show up.
Correct.
Okay.
Because it's like a tagging more than a part of. So the topic is going to be the visibility. So it's within a group. It's going to be the visibility of the group, but it's not going to be tagged within the organization.
Another question, Jamila. Will users who are associated with organizations like, I don't know, managers or whatever, have the little yellow check mark pulling out the name of the organization next to their username?
What do you mean?
You mean, for example, like in some cases in our sites, people that are part of Greenpeace stuff, they have the yellow tick.
Check mark.
Yeah,
yes.
which is called organization tag. So will it happen to be the same? And if they are associated with this organization?
What will now happen is that, so we do have a difference between following organization and be a part. So what will happen is that you'll automatically be added having that tag. So if you're a part of a specific organization, you're automatically going to be like tagged with that organization, like here. So this will be this is not something you'll just add. It's something that you need to like be a part of and it will show up.
And what if I'm a member of multiple organizations? Will you have
You have multiple, like here, you have both. So all of them then show up. Also, if I then go to my profile, and like if you are part of the information section, so just like before with the organization, right, it shows me that I'm part of both. And you can also drag which one should be first if you want to have that. Yes, other question?
Yeah, adding to that question from Luca, I was wondering, like, if you're an organizational owner, which can be a user, will those people get like some kind of like a tag or anything, or will
Just
they-
on the organization.
just owner, but nobody else will see, only on the organization? Yeah,
Only
clear.
if they're on their profile, like
Yeah.
on the dashboard of the organization. So on the organization profile,
Got it.
like you can also view members. You can also see then who is kind of the owner and who's the member. And these, of course, you have the manage members tab and the followers if you are organization manager. If you're not, then not. But also we are adding a few differences now with a new client, which is like also changing a bit the sidebar, including also the organization name. The organization is not really displayed anywhere. The type will be more what is used to display things, similar like topic.
Yeah, sure. So in the case we purchase this new feature, is it possible to add existing groups to a new organization by actor? Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so when you go to a specific group and you edit it, you'll have the option to add it within an organization. But it also, remember, it's a bit limited to organization managers to an extent.
Okay. Thanks.
So when you edit it now and you have settings, you can add it to an organization. Let's say we're doing it, adding it and saving it. And we are going back to our organization. You'll see now the group is here too.
Yes, it's maybe a bit specific, but if a user wants to be part of a group, is there a way for us to ask them a specific question like, hey, I don't know, this example is Berlin, like, are you really living in Berlin, to like verify questions? I see other like social media do that, like verification questions. Is that a possibility, or only request to follow?
So they can request to join and the person can of course chat them or message them, but it's not a survey thing where you can then check mark. There's no possibility of that anywhere in open social, so.
Yeah, no, clear, thanks.
Luca, I think you had a second question.
I did, yeah, sorry, I'm taking also notes on the side. It would be fantastic to see what an event created by 2 or 3 organizations would look like. No pressure, I mean, but this type of coalition activity is something that we are interested. So that would be good.
So webinar information. I'm just gonna do it that it's all day to make it easier. Right, so location, name, group, community, let's say it's request. Well, sure. And then you have settings, and then you can place it, say here, and jungle initiative, and I don't know which others is available. So let's say it's in that too. You create the event. And now like it's part of both organizations as well. That means that if I go now to the dashboard of Greenpeace Berlin, it's all it will be here. Oops. Okay. Yeah, so now it's here. And as well, if you go to the other organization, which was this one, it will also have it and also telling me that I'm enrolled.
But the event itself will not mention the organizations in the event page itself, will it?
No. So it doesn't tell me like what organization this is in.
Yeah. Is it possible to send an email to all organization members?
So we are currently developing that. So not yet, but very soon. So currently what you can do is export, oops. You can export users. So you can add as well as export, and we're currently also adding email.
So when do you recommend to use organization than a group or vice versa?
It's usually if you have like members, like if you want to have members of a specific, thing, but also if it's not very, because I see group as more like topical as well, or sometimes of course regional, but it's definitely, you can't have like subgroups in any way that they can like work together in, right? So this is really more where that helps, but also you want to have like more a community aspect thing. So events are in several organizations or topics. So when it's not supposed to be so secretive or closed off. And also if you want to have, of course, several groups in one place and like an information, so more of like a community within a community. There's just more that's going to come in the next months because we have a few clients expanding, which I already mentioned a few. That includes also more filtrations as well. But yeah, they're currently, like I said, it's developed like a few months ago. A large number of our clients already have it for their specific use case, and they adapt it really well. And we're also expand on a little bit more on like the search level, the naming level, the attachment level of organization profiles. So probably in a few months, you'll see more on community talks coming out with changes. I think every release has included something already. And that's also going to continue throughout till the end of the year.